Hello, my name is Ryan Kelly. I'm a quality assurance engineer with a CQIA certification, and I'm here to tell you today about specifically an internal quality audit. And I'm going to give you an example and a step by step issue on how to respond to an internal issue. So, this is a follow up to one of my other videos called A Cost of Quality, where we really dissected other issues and how much each one of them costs. So if you want to look at that and look at how much an internal issue might cost, check out that video. But as a reminder, I'm going to kind of go back, and I have some background in that video too. I discussed where we talked about a company called Pencils. And here we're going to be discussing the internal issue of paint chipping. So a quick reminder too that an internal issue means that it's a QA issue before it reaches the customer. So you find that before shipment, either on its way or back when it's before any of your inspections. So we'll discuss if your pencils ended up having a paint chipping issue, what to do. All right, so step one is containment. Very similar to external issue. The first thing is freeze production lines. Make sure anything that's going is currently stopped. Make sure that nothing gets shipped out. And you'll want to double check these items. So step one, containment. You want to pause production. You also want to document everything. That means batch date. That means paint lot. That means the operator, machine settings, humidity, other things that you have potentially found in previous QA issues that might have been variables. So if you realize that, hey, it was the paint lot number that affected my QA issue before, that's where you want to write that down. Make sure that in the future too, you'll be able to gather that data at this stage and not forget about it. So step two is root cause. You want to go back and figure out what the failure mode is. So this could be many things. If it's a surface preparation, was it not sanded correctly? Maybe there was some extra dust on the edges before it got painted. Maybe it was moisture in the air. What was the issue that potentially made the surface preparation not work out? It could have been a incorrect paint formulation. So maybe the paint itself was mixed wrong. Maybe it was a supplier material. Maybe usually check the viscosity of the paint itself, and maybe that was off. Maybe it was the curing properties. So maybe because it got mixed wrong, maybe the curing properties were off, so it cured wrong. And maybe it was just the way it cured. Maybe it was the drying conditions. Maybe it didn't dry long enough, the temperature was wrong, the humidity in the air was incorrect, so it had to maybe dry longer. Maybe it was a handling damage. This could be a whole thing where maybe the pencils ended up colliding. So they're on the production line. Maybe when they have machine rollers that push the pencils forward on the line, maybe those hit too hard, maybe they hit it too early, maybe they hit multiple at a time and the pencils collided and they hit each other and the paint chipped on that. Maybe they were packaged too soon. Maybe the items dropped into packaging and then that's why they were cured wrong. Maybe they were stacked before they were fully cured. There's multiple ways, and you want to go back, look at all the potential root causes, and then dissect and then see what it is. So right now, it could be any of those, but you want to list out the potential and the areas that it could be. So I'll pause real quick, and if you find this information valuable, please like and subscribe. If you have any specific QA questions, comment them down below, and I could cover them in another video. If you need any help with a QA fire drill or help vetting a product, please feel free to reach out to me. All right, so step 3, your investigation plan. So you had your issue with your pencils, you looked at potential root causes, now you want to recreate the failure. So you want to get some of these pencils and put another couple through the production line. Do some adhesion tests, do some scratch tests. How do you reproduce this error? Is it mixing the paint wrong? Like, what is it, and how can you get to this exact issue? And you want to potentially compare this to new samples too, or any good samples, I should say, because you want to be able to look at them side by side. If you do some scratch testing or some adhesion testing, so if you don't know adhesion testing, maybe take there's some 3M paint strips that you could put on a pencil and then tear off the paint strip. So you can actually see how well the paint is cured based on that. Maybe you take that to the affected sample and a good sample too, do them both next to each other and see what the difference is. And if you can recreate it, you want to check those key variables. So let's say you do recreate it and you see that the machine setting was off for humidity. That's your potential investigation issue. You want to go back, check those potential variables, all the ones you previously documented, whether it's machine settings, whatever else it might be. You want to go back, check those to make sure you can go back and recreate that issue. Then you want to go through and perform a 5 why analysis. So if you don't know what that is, that's asking why 5 times after an issue. So I'll give you an example. Why is the paint chipping? Well, it was because it had poor adhesion. Why does it have poor adhesion? Well, it's because it's not bonding to the wood. Why is it not bonding to the wood? Because the wood moisture was too high, and so on and so forth. So you're able to ask why each time and delve deep into the issues, and you're able to go through, and those are more that you can fix too and prevent in the future. So step 4, fixing the issue. So this is more making sure that, hey, you realized the machine setting was wrong. The item wasn't checked for its humidity when it got into the factory. So when the supplier came through and delivered the pencils, the humidity was a little out of check. So how do you go through and control that measure in the future? Maybe you have a supplier intake form where you go through and you test a certain batch of the pencils that you intake from your supplier, and you look at the humidity of each of them. Can you go through what's your acceptance criteria? What percent humidity made these pencils fail? And you want to make sure that you don't accept any pencils or any wood for pencils with that humidity level. So having this issue sets you up to make sure that you can check your supplier correctly, go back and then double check it as well as soon as all the samples come in. Maybe it's creating these new SOPs. Is it something on the production line where it says, hey, we need to make sure that this operator or this machine setting is double checked? Maybe it changes. Let's say there are QA inspections. Let's say you want to go through and look at the QA inspections and you want to add a new inspection for the next couple stops. Maybe you have specific quality management system. Whatever you do, whatever you add, like I previously mentioned in the fixing issue, you want to add this to your quality management system. So whatever you have in place, you want to add this document, make sure you go back so you don't have this issue again. So that's how you go through and fix an internal issue step by step. If you need any help with this, please reach out. I can support. I have an offer right now for new companies that want to come through and don't have much QA controls in place. I could help come through and give you 6 new QA documents or control plans, all guaranteed to help you and are all documents or controls that you don't currently have. So 6 QA documents or controls that I will add, and also 1 QA fire support offer. So if you have a fire drill that comes up, I can help manage that project and help you push it forward to the correct solution. So feel free to let me know. Let me know if you have any questions below, anything you want to discuss or see in the future. I can help out with that. Thank you.